Hey everyone, welcome back to another edition of Metcalf's Movie Journal. This is the show where I do quick reviews for the movies that I watch, give them a score out of 10, and then add them to my list. So let's see what movie I'm reviewing today. On June 27th, I watched First Man, which came out in 2018. If it wasn't for the simple fact that it stars Ryan Gosling, I know this one would have scored so much higher on my list. Biopics usually aren't my favorite to begin with, but obviously it has a lot to do with the person the movie's going to be all about. And Neil Armstrong just makes for an objectively interesting person to learn about. So it sucks all that much more having to see one of my least favorite actors portraying him. Getting to be the first human being ever to set foot on something other than Earth is just about as amazing as it gets in terms of human accomplishment, if you ask me. Space exploration in general has always been an interest of mine, so I was totally on board to learn a bunch of interesting stuff about Neil and the whole team responsible for getting him there. I obviously don't know the real Neil Armstrong to compare it to, but Gosling portrayed a man almost completely devoid of any emotion, and since I know I've seen the same overly stoic performance from him before, I worry he might have done the real Neil a bit of a disservice. Other than coming across as a devoted husband and a father with that standard male inability to express his emotion that seemed to be the stereotype of all fathers in the 60s, I don't feel like I actually learned any new or interesting details about the man that he actually was. So that was disappointing. With the title of First Man, it really should have been almost entirely about Neil, but even if it had slipped into more details about the other men on his crew, or the support staff that helped get them all there, that would have worked for me too. But instead what we got more closely resembled a documentary about the space race as a whole, and I've already seen more than enough on that topic. It's surprising that it took until 2018 for someone to finally decide that Neil Armstrong was worthy of a biopic like this. The nearly fatal mission of Apollo 13 might have made the easier, more exciting story to tell in movie form, but someone was always going to get around to making a movie about that first epic journey to the moon. The final scene in the movie basically writes itself, with that iconic triumphant first step on the moon and Neil's famous line. There was no way it couldn't end with the real footage. There's nothing wrong with it, but again, like a lot of what this movie is, it feels the same way, just like a safe, guaranteed results sort of decision. Ryan Gosling, as much as I don't like him, is popular enough to ensure a certain return at the box office, because a lot of people do like him. The subject matter of American pride and their hero landing on the moon probably prevents any real heavy critique of the film, as long as it's not objectively terrible, because who's going to rag on Neil Armstrong? And the only seemingly risky decision was to portray Buzz Aldrin as a bit of a dick, and even that seemed like it must have had some real person's approval behind the scenes. Corey Stoll, the bad guy from Ant-Man, takes the role of Buzz, and in a movie devoid of acting talent, I'd say he's the only one that really stood out. I'm a bit conflicted on this one, because on paper I think the script works really well, and Corey Stoll pretty much nails his part, so the only actor that really needed to show up more was Gosling. I'm sure some people might even like his performance here, but I got absolutely nothing from his dead-eyed stare. So I'm left with a movie that I know I could have liked a lot more with just one acting change. It still amazes me that we sent 3 people to the moon and back with less computing power than a Keurig coffee maker has nowadays. It's just mind-boggling. Between the potential the story provides and the acting that just doesn't quite live up to it, you end up with a pretty average movie. So I ended up giving it a 5 out of 10, and it landed at number 902 on my list, putting it right here, in between American Pie and Whiplash. And as always, thanks for watching. Hey everyone, thanks for watching another edition of Metcalf's Movie Journal. Be sure to click like and subscribe for new videos every week. And if you have a movie that you really want me to watch, be sure to drop me a comment.